Hey guys, welcome back. It's April 26th or 27th, one of the two. And if you guys tuned into the live stream, you saw that we picked up all the H parts from Bill over at A-Blast in East Bethel. And I got to give a big shout out to Bill. You know, he helped us out huge with this sandblasting. And man, it's great to see all this stuff back in the shop. Everything is clean. Let me take the camera here, and I hope you guys can hear me well. I'm not sure if I'm talking too loud or not, but we've got this external microphone now for the camera. So we'll do a quick walk around. I've got the rear end case up on the stand here. There's a lot of small parts over here: frame rails, seat, hitch brackets, wheel clamps, fenders, drawbar, all kinds of stuff there. We've got our transmission top deck cover, rear center casts and weights, axles, front pedestal, and the bolster, clutch housing, axle housings, grill. We got the hood and fuel tank over here, fan shroud. Let's see, this is just a box of small parts. The hitch, or drawbar, well, the drawbar's over there. This is the actual swinging hitch loop. And then our hydraulic reservoir. But today, what I'm gonna do, basically the plan is, I was gonna prime all this stuff like it sits, but I think since it's not humid yet here in Minnesota, you forgive my sweat, I just got done lifting all this stuff around, but since it isn't humid here in Minnesota, this stuff isn't really going to flash rust too quick. So my goal is, I've got to get all the threads chased with taps that need to be chased. I've already took my air compressor and blown everything out really well, but we're going to have to do that again after we clean all the threads out, obviously. So once we get all the threads chased and everything blown out again, we're going to take that Glyptal, which is right here, 1201 red enamel, and we're going to coat the inside of the reservoir, the inside of the transmission and final drive case, the inside of the top deck cover, the inside of the clutch housing, the inside of the axle housings, which is going to be very difficult, but we'll get it. And that's it. That's it, quote unquote. But let's get some taps going here. Actually, you know what? You know what would be a better idea? Before we tap everything, we should coat it. That way it's all dry, and then we can run through with taps and spray it out, and it should just spray right out. But let's do that first. Let's get the paintbrush rolling here, and we'll work on recoating everything. So that's going to be a tedious process in itself, but you know what? Squatch did it on X253, and there's no reason I can't do it on the H. So this one's for you, Squatch. Let me get set up with some paint sticks. Alright, Squatch, you'll have to forgive me. I won't be able to be as detail-oriented as you, sir, simply because I don't have the patience. But the goal is to get, you know, all areas of this casting coated with this red coat. And I did contact Squatch about this, and he mentioned that a little bit goes a long way. And from what I can tell so far, he's been right. I mean, I've only dipped my brush probably, half a dozen times, so we'll just keep at it. Now these webbings will probably be the hardest part, so you just gotta, you know, Squatch used a mirror to check all of them, but I think I'm just gonna go through, and I know Squatch is gonna watch this and his OCD will be kicking in when I say that I'm not gonna use a mirror. But Squatch, you're just gonna have to deal with it, buddy. I mean, we'll get it as good as we can get it, but I don't think a flake here or a flake there of missed cast is going to really affect us for what we're trying to do with this here. And I know what you're thinking, Squatch, but nothing. I'm just playing with you. You know I love you. But in all seriousness, folks, if you want to really, I mean, top-notch restoration, the type you could eat off the insides of an engine or the transmission, definitely check out Squatch's channel if you haven't been there already. So, but for sakes of conserving video, I'm just going to keep doing this, and you guys can wait for the next portion. How about that? Alright guys, let me turn my microphone around. We are about, I'd say, probably halfway done. We got the entire inside of the transmission housing and final drive housing coated. We did the entire inside of the hydraulic reservoir, and this one was probably the most challenging, but we did inside the belt pulley housing as well. There's a whole lot of angles to get in here, and there's not a whole lot of room at all, so I actually, in order to get into a lot of the areas, I had to take and dip my finger into the Glyptal and then just smear it as best I could. And like I said, I don't have a dental mirror or an inspection mirror, so I'm just going kind of by feel and by what I can see. So what we've got left is the top of the transmission deck. I'll probably do that next, and then the clutch housing and the 2 axle housings, and that's it. We're all coated and ready to go, so let's keep moving. Okay guys, well, we finished coating all the insides of everything, and I'll just kind of give you a rundown of what we've covered. So we did the entire inside of the differential and transmission case. I think Squatch would be proud. I took a little more time than I intended. The biggest challenge was getting in all these webbings around the axle housing embossments. We also did the inside of the hydraulic reservoir. We did, as best we could, we did the inside of the belt pulley housing. It's really difficult to get in some of these areas just because my hands don't really fit inside these holes. So, but we did the best we could. I also took and coated the axles where they ride inside the housings. We coated inside the axle housings. I'm not sure if you can see too well down inside there. I think you can. It's not perfect inside there, but it's better than nothing. It's very difficult to get coating inside there. I'm not sure how they did it at the factory. My guess would be that they probably dipped them, and then when they came out, maybe they sandblasted the exteriors. I'm not sure, but it's definitely difficult to get in there. Or maybe they just hired the guy with the smallest hands. I don't know. But we also coated the top of the transmission, or the underside of the top of the transmission. And last but not least was the clutch housing. And this one was probably the easiest to get, just because it's so open inside here. I mean, you got the hole for where the belt pump or the belly pump goes, the inspection plate cover, all that. It was very easy to coat the inside of that. So the most difficult pieces to coat were probably the axle housings and the belt pulley housing. So that's about all I've got. I know this was a real short video, but you know, when you're slinging a brush back and forth like Mr. Miyagi, it's not very interesting, and it gets pretty monotonous when you try to videotape all that. And you know, I came out here at about 10:30 or so. It's now 2 o'clock, so what's that, 3.5 hours it took to do all the coating on these. But it's going to be worth it, and I know Squatch would be proud. And from here, my goal is to get the transmission reassembled and the axles on, get the clutch housing bolted on, and then get the engine bolted on, and hopefully we'll have everything as far as the main chassis in primer before my wife and I leave on our vacation. So that's the hope. If we can get everything primed by then, it'd be great, but I don't think that's going to happen, because there's so many small parts that it's just going to have to be, it is what it is. We're going to have to probably do it in stages, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. So anyways, that's all I've got for this video, and as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for, I guess, wrenching with me. We did not any wrenching, more painting, but make sure if you guys can or are willing to check out the GoFundMe for this project. At least a share on your social media page would be great. Again, we're doing this all for suicide awareness, so any leftovers are going to go from this project to the SAVE organization. So we definitely appreciate any and all help, and till next time, we'll talk to you guys later.